Okay, where's Greg? Where's Greg? Dale is here. Good morning, Dale. Where's Greg? I can't do a podcast without Greg. Good morning to Brooks. We're ahead of the game today. Good morning to Dale and DK Lush and George. King Hap. Gonna have Andrea on at some point. Taco is here. The wonderfully talented Ohio Angels fan. Outlaw Seal from the great state of Long Island. Timothy My Hooker in the great unholy Toledo. Welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard on a lovely Tuesday morning. How's the sound? Want to check it out? That's right. Now, for those of you who are just tuning in, welcome aboard means it's 9 o'clock. It's like the buzz. It's like the electric shock goes through me at 9 o'clock, and that's when I say welcome aboard. So, okay, let's get right to it. We're going to talk about the Seattle Mariners. Don't turn me out. I got a lot to talk about the Mariners today. You know, even with the bad teams, there are some very interesting and very good fantasy players that can be absolutely stolen on a bad team. When people see bad teams, they just think of bad players. But on every bad team, there are good players. So, we'll talk about the Seattle team. I think there's a couple of interesting secret picks to make. And there is one pick to make that you don't want to make. And we'll talk about that. And ladies and gentlemen, coming down the aisle is, there she is. She helped me out this morning. I have about 75 pages of notes. And she goes right for the donuts, okay? Last night at the HOA meeting, I was the host. I don't know what the hell that's all about. And I got to bring donuts. So Andy goes out, buys a box, and now she comes down, and there it is. First donut gone. How you doing there, everybody? Okay, so let's get right to it and talk about... look, we all know I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the bull dinky and the poppycock, about the new playoff thing. If you've taken a look at it and you want to comment on it, I will absolutely comment, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it because it's just, it's just not the kind of thing you make. You know, last night I came home from an HOA meeting, and here's the thing. I'm going to be very candid. Andy's going to get a little annoyed. And I wound up, I took a look, I had 30 new Facebook followers. Not Facebook, Twitter followers. And I'm saying, what the hell's going on? And sure enough, Howard Bender posted how he was being trolled by a bunch of, I'll say, some say millennials, some say newcomers. I don't even know who they were. But, of course, Howard said, when I broke in, I couldn't imagine trolling Matthew Berry, Ron Chandler, or Lenny Melnick, and then people started to chime in. And look, a troll is a troll is a troll. I got plenty of them. And the trolls that I have are guys that I tried to open a door for. One guy in particular, he did a show for us for a couple of times, and then he decided he wasn't showing up. Maybe he'd show up, maybe he wouldn't show up, and he unfriended, and he became my enemy. He trolled me the other day by saying I put up a post about Noah Syndergaard and the amount of walks he's given up, and I didn't give credit to the guy who tweeted it. And you know something? I'm friends with the guy who tweeted it. We just happened to talk a couple of days before. He said, forget credit. I didn't even make that. That's not even for me. So anyway, and the guy's trolling me, and then I got another guy who also used to perform here, and he backs them up. Anything they could do to make their mark and get on the stage, it's pathetic. Tell you that right now. Okay. And I'm a troll. Well, I'm a troll. I troll you. Okay? So, all right. So, Major League Baseball considering expanding the playoffs to half of the 30 teams are going to be in the playoffs, right? And they're allowing higher-seeded wild-card teams to choose opponents. The playoffs would actually grow from 10 clubs to 14 under the plan, okay? And Trevor Bauer. Oh, my goodness gracious. Go Trevor Bauer. Fantastic comment by Trevor Bauer. If you didn't see it, look, the postseason of 14 teams would mean 47% of the franchises reach the playoffs, which which could cause some clubs not to go into the rebuilding mode. And that's pretty good, all right? And we see less tanking. Hey, don't forget, 12 of the 32 National Football League teams reached the playoffs, along with 16 of 30 in the NBA. So expanded playoffs would create more content. I mean, have you listened to some of the great radio shows on Sirius Radio on the MLB channel? All right, and I'm not against my own channel, but I'll tell you why I say MLB channel. If you listen to some of the, really terrific guys, Memolo and Jeff Joyce and Steve Sachs and all these guys, Stanton, here's the thing. They got nothing to talk about. They got nothing to talk about. And if you really listen, they're still talking about Mookie Betts, for crying out loud. So it's really quite a thing. So it's really kind of unbelievable, actually, okay? They're still talking about Mookie Betts. So anyway, it's the new playoff system, and as far as Trevor Bauer is concerned, Manfred has no business being commissioner of Major League Baseball, according to here's what he said. He's never. Look, we all know Trevor Bauer's not. He's going to be our guest on a Sunday show, not this week, but the following week. I think Craig Mish is going to be our guest this week. Trevor Bauer, who's never shy about his opinions on Twitter, he says he has no idea who made the new playoff format proposal, but Rob is responsible for releasing it, so I'll direct this to you, Rob Manfred. Your proposal is absurd for too many reasons to type on Twitter and proves you have absolutely no clue about baseball and you're a joke. You can't do any better than that. Right, and that's the same Trevor Bauer who turned 29 in January and in 10 starts for the Reds after they acquired him. He posted a .639 ERA, okay? 639. Here's my by the way, I never told you the answer to the trivia question yesterday. Major League Baseball hitters with at least 180 stolen bases, 440 home runs, and a batting average of over 300. And there are only 3. So, once again, 180 stolen bases, 440 home runs, and a batting average of over 300. And an OPS of 140 or greater. That's kind of complicated, but there are only 3. But here's an easier one. Now listen, the answer to that was Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Vladimir Guerrero. Okay, big deal. In Major League Baseball history, this is a good one, George. Heads up on Holy Toledo. There are, in Major League Baseball history, only 2 players have averaged 100 runs scored and 100 runs batted in per season that they played. 2, only 2, have averaged in the seasons that they played 100 home runs and 100 100 runs scored and 100 RBIs. Only 2. Okay? And I'll give you a clue. One was, I won't say fairly recently, and the other one was in the 20s and 30s. So I'll give you and they were both first basemen, although one of them played some third base at some point. Okay? So there you go. If it means anything to anybody, the Padres have signed Juan Lagares. This is with defensive stalwart, as we say, Manny Margot dealt to Tampa. Look, he may get some playing time. Taijuan Walker, and I'll talk more about Taijuan Walker, meeting with the Cubs, throwing for the Cubs. No deal in place. Don't forget, former first-round pick of Seattle battled the injuries, and he pitched for Arizona. Seattle says that they have an open offer to Taijuan Walker. Now, Baseball America's top 100, Tampa has 8 players. That leads the Baseball America's top 100. The Dodgers had 7. Minnesota had 6, counting Graterol. So now they have 5. And that's the way that goes, okay? Very interesting, right? So, does anybody know about the playoffs? Anybody like the playoffs, all right? Now, on the Mookie Betts deal, and I'm not going to talk about Mookie Betts. I'm going to talk about Greg. Where's Greg? Somebody get Greg. For crying out loud. How do you do a podcast without Greg? Okay, it's not possible. Michael, wait a second. We got Michael Magid in the chat room. Holy, Ray K is here. SP fan is here. Was Michael Magid here? He was in there. No, it wasn't Eddie Matthews. Zelmo in the chat room. Wasn't Ty Cobb. All right. George gets one of them. Good morning to White Sox Al. Good morning, White Sox Al. George gets one of them. It's Lou Gehrig is one. All right, that takes care of the guy from old history. The new guy. Here he goes. Michael Magid is here. There you go. Holy mackerel, Andy. Now we're doing it with Michael Magid from the great state of Massachusetts. Great to see you, kid. Great to see Magid here. Wasn't Eddie Matthews? No, it was Eddie Matthews. No, the two players who averaged 100 RBIs and 100 runs was not Eddie Matthews, okay? One of them was Lou Gehrig. The other one, no, it's not Albert Pujols either, all right? And now that you're throwing Albert Pujols out there, I wonder. It was, all right, I wonder. All right, the one was Lou Gehrig, and the other one was Jeff Bagwell. Could somebody check that out? It's too bad B-Don's not around. Right? Our Doug Boyle. Good morning, Doug. You'll hear Doug on Saturday mornings without a doubt. So great to see Doug in the chat room. All right, moving right along. This is really great. Michael Magid comes back. I'm telling you, we are really rocking and rolling. Thanks for coming in, Magid. There you go. I know it's not so easy all the time, but when you get here, it's great. Now, the Red Sox, look, there's no question that every Red Sox fan has sworn off the team, all right, after look, just winning the World Series not that long ago, but they're disgusted with the Red Sox cheaping them out by not giving Mookie Betts $400 million, okay? Look, Fenway Sports Group that owns the Red Sox is valued by Forbes at about $6.5 billion. The team did produce $516 million in revenue in 2018. They could go over that for 2019, okay? But here's the thing. Even the Yankees, baseball's most valuable team, made it a point to reset the tax penalties in 2018. Brian Cashman, you remember, referred to it as a mandated goal. The Cubs, valued just behind the Red Sox, had their pockets turned out empty 2 winters running, and spent much of this offseason, and they're still spending it trying to shop Chris Bryant, despite the cash bonanza of their own TV network, the Marquee Sports Network, which will launch at the end of February, okay? The free-spending Dodgers, whose nearly $300 million payroll in 2015 that led to the new penalty structure, okay, signed in 2016. The Dodgers spent more than $250 million in 2016. More than $250 million are you kidding me? In 2017. And then they had that 7-game loss to the Astros in the World Series. How did the Dodgers seek to build off that? Of the tremendous... They cut their payroll. More than $60 million. They reset their tax penalties. That's what they're trying to do. You know what? It really makes a little sense. Okay? And now this year they made strong efforts to sign Anthony Rendon and Garrett Cole before settling on a year of Betts. And now, and they're also pretty much the favorite to link Mookie Betts to a long-term deal after 2020. All right? I mean, that's really unbelievable. Okay? So, look, it's not that the Red Sox are cheap. Baseball is cheap, not the Red Sox. So let's, look, I know Andy is the Red Sox fan and the whole thing. But look, can they still be